Hi folks, Chris Anderson with Mount Comfort RV here to do another Newmar video. Today we're going to do a Dutch Star. Now the 2020 product is coming. We went last week and saw what was up, and those won't start rolling in until July or August as far as that goes. But I took a look at our inventory when we get back, and there's a handful of pieces that need to go before that time, primarily anything that is a 2018 model year. So the bad news is we ordered too many of this particular model and it didn't sell as quickly as we wanted. The good news is that's an opportunity for a customer that's looking for a deal. Normally we can't advertise our prices in these videos on current model year stuff, but since this is an 18, we're going to show you a whale of a good price on this very shortly. Wanted to get a shot of the outside first of all so you know what it looks like there, but now let's go inside and we'll show you what this coach looks like with the slide ins closed. Okay, here we are inside of our 2018 Dutch Star. This is the 4002 floor plan. One of the nice parts about the 4002 that sometimes people like is the dinette is on the door side of the coach, or the awning side of the coach. So that's something people like about this floor plan. Now, we option this in with the two chairs. Okay, and when you option it in with the two chairs, if you take the time to turn those sideways, it actually gives you even a bigger aisle than when you do the sofa configuration. So, I mean, this is as wide as it gets in multi-slide large diesels. So that's really big through there. Obviously the kitchen area, again with this dinette, very wide open. This makes things easy. I can easily get into the bathroom. You don't even have to have the articulating door, and easily into the refrigerator as well. So if you're looking for a coach that is really well laid out when the slides are in, this is a very good candidate. Now, real quick commercial from Mount Comfort RV. Now, we do these videos for a lot of different reasons. Sometimes people come here to get an education on what's new in the RV world or how certain systems work, and we love that. Maybe they're looking at different brands, one to the other, educating themselves for years down the road. Maybe they're actively shopping for an RV. Well, if you like our videos, we ask that you support us just a little bit. First of all, if you're actively shopping for an RV, best way to support us is to buy an RV from us. So that's number one. Number two, and it seems ridiculous, but just click that like button down there on your screen to like the video. There you go, Tony helping me out there. And what that does for us is the more likes a video gets, that puts us up on the popularity scale. So when somebody searches for an RV, we're going to be one of the first ones to come up if they hit anything close to what we're looking for. And so maybe even if you're not actively searching, you're looking for years down the road, but you want to help Mount Comfort RV, that would be the best way you could do it. And then if you do like the videos and like the way we do this, please subscribe, and then whenever we do produce something new, you'll see it. That's it. I'm done with commercials. We're good. So you can see, obviously, in this floor plan, I can get all the way to the bed. If I wanted to take a nap, I could lay down on the bed. Easy walk through. This is one of the biggest floor plans we've done in a long time as far as an aisle way through here. But I know what we really want to see is this coach all opened up. We'll be right back.
The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamed I held you in my arms. But when I woke, dear, I was mistaken, and I hung my head and cried. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. You told me once, dear, that you loved me and nothing else.
Okay, Tony and I have traded positions, and the coach is all opened up. It is absolutely beautiful. As you can see, we did the cherry hardwood in the high gloss. So that's one of my favorite finishes that Newmar offers. It's it's traditional. I think it's kind of timeless, and a lot of people really like it. So one of my favorite woods. That is a little bit of an upcharge on here as well. Now, one of the things we never demo, because a lot of times remote controls aren't kept in the coaches, we don't want them disappearing, that we keep them inside, and I always forget to grab them before a video, but I did grab a remote control today so I could demonstrate the power MCD shades. When you have the power MCD shades, I can control with this remote any one individual window, or maybe even a group of windows. So if I want to just make all of the windows blinds go up at once, except for the main front shade, I can do that with just one press of a button, and then it's daytime in here. But the truth is that doesn't do very well with our camera. The different lighting between the coach lighting and the outdoor lighting, it really kind of messes up some of our shots. So we try to pull the blinds down when we do this. So I'm going to go the other way now, and we'll put those blinds back down, and it'll make a better quality video that day. If I was staying in the coach, oops, this one got a little hung up. If I was staying in the coach, I would certainly have the blinds open on a day like today. It's absolutely a beautiful spring day here. By the way, somebody always makes comment on the videos, tell us where you're at. I forget that sometimes. I apologize, but I do read all the comments and try to respond. We are just east of Indianapolis, like 5 miles outside the loop, so we're very easy to find. We're right on I-70 at exit 96. So been here for many years. We're in the middle of building a new building. I'll bet Tony can make a picture of the progress pop up on the screen. That should be easy enough, and soon, hopefully by July or so, you can come see us in our new building, and some of these videos will be done inside the showroom, which thank God for wintertime for that. They won't have me out there in 10 degrees anymore. All right, let's get right to it. A little late for that, I guess. We'll get to it. We'll start up in the cockpit area. This is a 2018 Dutch Star. We did option this in on a Spartan chassis. We like both Spartan and Freightliner. They're really like 95% the same construction. There's a little bit of differences. If you want to get in depth about that, we can talk about that, but I like both chassis. So this is a 40 foot with a tag axle, and like I said, we are Spartan. I'm going to point out some different objects here as we look through. Over here, and again, we'll try to get as much light as we can on the subject. This is our transmission selector switch on the left. Then we have our tag axle. You can dump some of the air out of that, but it will do it automatically when it needs to as well. This is a power window. It's weird that you can't buy a car these days without a power window in it, but certainly on a motorhome it's a rare thing. This does have a power driver's window, makes it so much easier to pay tolls. This turns our engine brake on and off, and this selects high, medium, and low for our engine brake. This is our fully automatic hydraulic HWH leveling system. So just once you pull into your campsite, you can just hit the auto level button and it will do the rest. And then under here we got a couple of USBs. That's always nice to have. 2 cup holders for the driver here. Power mirror switch, headlight switch. We can brighten or dim our instrument cluster here, and that's another light switch there. We also have our air brake system. If you're not familiar with air brakes and what's different about those, we can talk about that also. And then this is a smart wheel. So on our smart wheel, we have our cruise control and our wiper control. And even flashing and turning on your high beams of your headlights is all right on the steering wheel itself. We don't have to take a hand off the wheel for that. You can get a good shot of the gauge cluster in there. This coach does have comfort drive. If you're not familiar with comfort drive, you should be before you buy a coach of this price point. And comfort drive, we did a separate video on that if you go to our webpage at www.mountcomfortrv.com, we'll have this video, and then right below it we will have our comfort drive video as well. So it makes it easy to find if you look at these on our webpage. Now, we certainly don't mind you looking at them on YouTube either, but it's easier for us to control what order videos show up in if you do so on our webpage. Now, this over here, this is our camera system. Of course, we have side and rear camera on this, and they will show up here. Your side cameras come on automatically when you turn your turn signal on, so when you're ready to change lanes on the interstate, you just turn your blinker on like you always would, and it'll show you what's in your blind spot. Sometimes if you drive an RV long enough, sooner or later there'll be a little car hiding right just right there, and you know, you look in your mirror and you can't see him, and you start to change lanes and you'll hear somebody honking at you. All right, well, that's what that side camera prevents, is when you turn on your blinker, you'll actually see him. This does have the X-Sight dash radio in it as well, with the Rand McNally navigation system. Rand McNally is the best navigation system in our industry right now, mostly because you can program in your size. So, you know, I'm 13 feet tall, I'm 40 feet 11 inches long, whatever your sizes are, and it won't take you down any roads that you don't go under. So that keeps you from shaving off some air conditioners due to a low bridge. That's an expensive boo-boo. So we don't want to do that. The Rand McNally will keep you on the road you should be on. We'll go up here. Again, I've done some in-depth videos on some of this stuff. I'm going to give you the Cliff Notes version of it up here, just so you kind of know what controls are where. In the top left over here, these are the awning control for the little awning that's over the door, and then there's a light control for that as well. Simple enough. Right here on this screen, that shows us our battery levels, and also our tank levels, and our tank levels are in percentages. That's a lot better than if you have an RV that tells you we're either a quarter of full or 3/4 full. The problem is on that, if your gray tank is 3/4 full, you know, it could be 76% full, it could be 98% full, and it's still going to read 3/4 full on that. And big difference, you know, 75% full, I can take a shower. 99% full, I can't do anything. So percentages, much better way to go. This is our Weingard power antenna, and you just simply turn that on and hit the search button. It'll tell you how many channels you're going to be able to pull in. Above that, these are security lights over here, a block heater switch, your electric step switch to control whether that comes on every time you open the door, or whether it just stays out, and then your LED lights under the slide room. So that's just purely decorative, but they're very cool. We have an in-motion satellite equipped on this coach. This can be programmed to either DirecTV or Dish Network, either one, and will work while you go down the road. This is our inverter control. Our inverter control, first of all, an inverter takes 12-volt DC current, and it makes it into 110-volt AC, alternating current, like you have in your outlets at home. That pulls off the battery bank to do that, so that's what an inverter does. This is also what powers our refrigerator when we go down the road, and sometimes people worry about, well, I can't run my fridge going down the road because it's an electric refrigerator. Oh, no, no, no. First of all, this coach has 8 house batteries on it, so that'll last a good long time. Secondly, when your engine's running, you're going down the road, your alternator charges your batteries supply the inverter supplies the refrigerator, and that's the cycle of life. That can go on until you run out of fuel, so you know, that goes on indefinitely. Once you do stop for an overnight, you've got 24 to 48 hours with ease that you can go and run your refrigerator and things off of your inverter if you want to. Now, there's a lot of things that play into that. Everybody wants an exact number. How many hours can I go? Well, how many lights do you have on? How old are your batteries? Were they fully charged when you stopped? You know, there's a lot of things that come into play there that I can't give you just a blanket answer. But like I said, safely 24 to 48 hours without a problem. And you always have your generator that you can start at any point. You can even program on this panel right here your auto generator start, so that if your voltage drops to a predetermined voltage, we'll say 11.7 volts, if your voltage drops in your battery bank to 11.7, the generator will start itself out, run 3 hours, and charge those batteries back up, and then shut off again. So there's lots of ways you can keep the refrigerator and everything else working in this coach, and the inverter is a big part of that. We move over here. This is our Girard awning control. This coach does have the Girard Nova awnings on it. I'll check the wind when we do the outside, and if I can, we'll do a video on those awnings. Those are the ones that are molded up into the top cap. That's the Girard awnings. And then the Nova awning is their upper series of awnings that kind of have the bend in the middle that come down. That's even better. It's a nice upgrade. So if the wind's not too bad when we get outside, we'll open those up for you. Our Oasis system, that's our hydronic heating system. If you're not familiar with hydronic, we will link directly below our video on our webpage a separate video that talks about hydronic heating and how it works and what it is. The big thing to know is you don't have a propane furnace in here. This actually runs off of either electric or diesel fuel, and my favorite part about the Oasis system, unlimited hot water. So if you're in a campground and you're hooked up to water, and you're hooked up to sewer, and you want to take a 45-minute shower and do a load of laundry at the same time, knock yourself out. The coach will keep up with you. This control over here is our power control panel. This keeps an eye on how much power is coming into the coach and how much it has available to it, how many amps it has available to it, and will actually keep you under whatever that rated amperage is. So if you're running 2 air conditioners in the microwave and somebody turns on a hairdryer, well, that's way over 50 amps right there. So rather than blowing the circuit breaker out at the post, this coach will shut certain things off temporarily until you shut the hairdryer and the microwave off, and then it'll turn them back on again. The nice part about this is it's seamless. You don't ever really touch it. So nice there. And then lastly, in this cabinet, we have our slide out control. So that runs our front 2 slides in and out. We did option in the front television up here as well. Now, sometimes people ask me, why do you option that in when you have a televator in the coach? It's lined up with the chairs and the perfect viewing angle and all that. Well, sometimes maybe you have guests over. You know, if it's just the 2 of you, I agree. Don't even turn this on. Watch the televator. Everybody's happy. When you have guests over, they would probably be sitting on the sofa, or you'd be sitting on the sofa, and then nobody can really see the televator screen. So in that instance, you have a TV up here that everybody can watch. And sometimes people tell me they just turn them both on, and, you know, different people watch where they want to. So be it. Both of these seats obviously do turn around to become part of the living area, and they both have recliners built into them. They're very comfortable flex steel seats as well. We'll go over just real quickly. I didn't go over these gauges here. We have our dome light, which is our light right above the driver's seat. I probably should have had that on. In fact, we'll turn the passenger one on there, so I'll light this up as much as I can. Pedals, the Dutch Star does have adjustable pedals and an air horn. Everybody loves an air horn. So instead of, you get much better. Manly. Battery boost switch. Well, what's a battery boost switch? Well, there's 2 sets of batteries on a diesel pusher. You have your chassis batteries. That's a set of 2 batteries that starts the engine, and you have your house batteries, which is the 8 batteries that kind of run everything else. That switch combines those batteries, so if you happen to run one set or the other down, you can actually get your coach going off of the other set by holding that in. It's like jumper cables with a button. So that's kind of slick. Overhead fans. A lot of coaches in the past you'll see have those fans that hang down. They're usually a black or a stainless fan that hang down in your view, and they're always facing back towards the driver and passenger. Well, that's not the intention of those fans. The intention of those fans are to be extra defroster fans. They're supposed to be pointed at the windshield, but everybody uses them as their own personal fan. That's okay. The thing to realize here, though, this is not missing those. They've just integrated them into the back of the cabinets here, your extra defrost fans. So you can't use them as your personal fan, sorry. But they do work very well as to keeping the windshield from fogging up. So that's the control for the on-off of those fans, and then there's a high, medium, and low switch right next to that. Our visor controls for our front visors as we're going down the road can be controlled here, as well as our shade. That can be controlled here manually. We have courtesy lights. That's our floor light. Tony shined right back there by the bathroom. See that little glow on the floor? It just went out. Now it's back again. That's a courtesy light. You can turn that on either in the bedroom or up here. It's nice to have on at night. It's not in your eyes or anything. It's just a little LED. When you walk through the coach at night, especially if you have guests, they can still see in here. So that's the courtesy light switch. We have docking lights on the outside. They're the little lights I'll show you when we get outside, but that's what keeps you from running into the picnic table when you're backing into your campsite at night. And then we have a hydronic heat fan. It's off, low, and high here. It's a 3-position switch. What is that? Well, that we have our regular dash heater here like a car has in it. You know, you're going down the road in your car in the morning. You've got controls that sometimes look something like this. Okay, 10 years ago they look something like this, but still you have controls that look like that you turn on your heater in your dashboard. This has that as well. But also you have that Oasis system that we talked about and we did a separate video on and all of that. You can actually get heat. There's a heat exchanger right up here under that. And that heat exchanger, if you want to get heat from that instead of your dash, you can do that, and that's the control for that is that switch right there. The last switch is my entry door lock. If I want to lock my doors, there we go. We just lock the doors. That simple. I'm going to unlock them so I don't forget. So that's my dash controls. Let's get a shot over here. We're going to do the step cover. If Tony can get in position here. When you're going down the road, some people have been afraid in the passage, your passenger just has their feet dangling over the step well. All right. There's a slight malfunction here. This is live video. Oh, it almost jumped up there. It's supposed to come up and be level with the floor. So I'm not quite sure why this one is not. We would obviously make sure that that is rectified before it comes to you, but it would be a nice level floor out there. And then lastly, we actually, both of these steps have storage in them. This is really nice when you're outside the coach and you want to reach in. I'm thinking like the Frisbee for the dog or a pair of sandals right in these little cubbies, and it's all Corian, and that makes things obviously very nice. We have a table for the passenger. All right, this flips over. Nice little table. Newmar calls this a cup holder. I'm thinking going down the road, maybe not. I'm going to use this cup holder over here if I need a cup holder. All right. So let's get into the coach a little more. We spent some time on the cockpit area. We do have multiplex lighting throughout in this coach, and what that means is I can take little panels like Tony's shining the lights on there, and I can turn on multiple lights in multiple places, so I don't have to walk to the bedroom or to the bathroom to light it up. Or more importantly, I like it when I'm leaving the coach, I can hit these bottom two buttons at the same time. Darkens the whole coach as I'm walking out the door, turns every light in here off. So nice setup there. As I mentioned earlier, we did do this with the 2-chair setup. And the 2 chairs, I think this is the most comfortable for when it's going to be just 2 people most of the time in the RV. This is the most comfortable setup in my opinion. These are very comfortable Lambrite recliners. These are my favorite recliners that they've ever used in these chairs. They fit me well. And furniture is very subjective. Somebody may come in and say they don't like it, but most people that sit in these really like these chairs. So they do fully recline, and you have the nice table in between here with storage. You have 2 drawers that look like this. I'm only going to open one. You're going to have to imagine the bottom one looks just like this. And it's straight across from the sofa and the television. All right, so here comes our TV right on cue. It's neat the way that works. You mention the word television, it comes up all on its own. All right. Nice Sony television in there with a Bose soundbar above. Let's get into some of our living room storage. I'm going to open these 3 and let Tony get shots. This is all nicely carpeted. Carpeted cabinets make a big difference on the inside. They're lined cabinets, I should say. And the reason that makes a big difference is because if you just have a wood panel in here, number one, that can kind of reverberate. As you're going down the road or anything's in here bouncing up and down, it's going to make noise. Carpeted not only keeps it from making noise, it also keeps stuff from sliding around as much. So it makes a big difference there. This is all solid hardwood. I don't just mean solid hardwood doors like some cheapy coaches have. I mean the stiles and everything are solid hardwood. There's no wrapped wood in this coach whatsoever. So my fascias and everything are all solid. We have these little struts built in to hold the doors up, so you're not holding the door up with one hand and loading with the other. And then when you drop these down, you can actually feel they want to close, and that's nice because that strut is pulling them in tight. Again, that's going to be less rattling, less noise. That's why everybody, when they drive a Newmar for the first time, they're shocked at how quiet it is. It's not one thing that makes a Newmar quieter. It's lots of things. It's having the thickest floors in the industry and having the thickest walls and thickest roof in the industry. It's having 2 kinds of insulation in the walls. All the things we've talked about on the construction video, see the link down below, with Newmar, that makes a Newmar a Newmar. And those things play into it being quiet. The way they duct their air conditioner makes it quieter, but it's little things like the little metal struts on the cabinets and the carpet inside the cabinets that make a Newmar quieter too. It all plays into it. All right, on the opposite side over here, notice we have a little glass window in that cabinet. Well, that's so our remote control electric eye will talk to the DVD player in there. And if you do add a satellite receiver to this equation, your satellite remote will work through there as well. Your Bose soundbar can be Bluetooth to your favorite device, like your phone. Okay. And then we actually have a nice carpeted cabinet next door for additional storage. All right, as we come back into the kitchen area, let's talk about that for a minute. We actually have one giant stainless sink. One giant sink's nice if you have those big pots and pans that traditionally in one of those smaller sinks you can't get in. You can in here, and of course you have the pull down sink sprayer here as well. This is the 50th anniversary. The 2018 model is the 50th anniversary coaches, so they all have that designation. And then I'm going to get the upper cabinets open so you can see in there. All right, 2 flip downs to store the little scrubbies. Okay. Trash can spot. How many coaches forget a spot for the trash can? We end up with a Kroger bag tied to the front of the stove or something. Not in this coach. Okay, and then 2 more drawers below. And then we did not option in the dishwasher on this coach. Dishwasher is a tough option for us because it's one of those 50-50 options. Some customers really want it, some don't. If you have to have a dishwasher, that's a kit that I can add after the fact. So if you're looking at this video and saying, I would buy this coach from Chris Anderson at Mount Comfort RV if it just had a dishwasher, you better call me because I can make that happen. Oh, by the way, these are cutting boards on the backside. Okay, 30-inch. Residential convection microwave. Okay, let me close up some cabinets here. All right. 3 drawers here because we did not option in the dishwasher. We have 3 drawers. A lot of RVers really like the storage instead of having the dishwasher, and that's the juggling act. You know, when we order these coaches, what's the next customer through the door going to want? That's the tricky part. So that's our thought process on this one was we took the drawers instead of the dishwasher. All right, take a look here. We have 3 little cabinets. These are just little cubbies, but Newmar gives you every single spot. Now, with this dinette, this is the factory default dinette. The reason this dinette is nice is because when we had the slides closed, that huge aisleway you had, this dinette does a better job than any of them of getting out of the way. There are 2 more chairs and a leaf for this. If you want to pull it out and drop the leaf in, that's a very simple procedure. But because the buffet is not as deep and because it's not a booth, it actually gives us the most amount of space going down the road. So if that's important to you, then this might be the coach for you. Oops. Those are adjustable shelves. I'm trying to get everything out of the way so we can open up and show you all of the storage, because even though it's not as deep as the buffet or the computer buffet, there's actually a lot of storage here. And on the right and left there, those are adjustable shelves. So, all right, let's close that up, put everything back. Nice heavy chairs as well. Our outlets in a Newmar, they'll put a lot of these throughout that are not just dual 110 outlets. You actually have USBs on there also. I mean, let's face it, we all have lots of little toys that plug into USB. When you look at a Newmar, sometimes it's the little things as well. You look at the ceiling, you don't see a bunch of those round discs on the ceiling where the air comes out of. You actually have a nice wood diffuser. Folks, what looks better? I mean, no question about that. The nice part about that is this is actually easier to clean and quieter as well, and puts out more cold air. So it's a win-win. Whenever they put a fantastic fan in the main living area, they put this beautiful wood cover over it also. I mean, you want to look up at a plastic $300 fan, or you want to look at a nice wood cover. That's the nice part. Now we're going to pull this down a little bit here. This is held up by really industrial. They're actually Amish magnets. They work harder than domestic magnets. So as you come through here, your output air comes out here, your return ducts are here. How easy is it to just peel those off and clean them and put them right back up again? And again, this is just a really big set of magnets that hold it up. So that easy. All right, let's get back to the residential refrigerator. This has a built-in lock on it from Newmar. 2 doors up front, 1 ice chest below. Oh, sorry, let Tony get a shot in there. It does have an ice maker built in also. And then when you're going down the road, you just slide this, and now the door's locked. How nifty is that? And we did not give up on the pantry. It has a pantry. It has a lit pantry, LED lighting built in back there, and all of these are pull out. As I always try to mention, these are certainly adjustable as well, so you can put them at whatever height you want them at, but that's a nice size pantry. Now, of course, this is a 1.5 bath floor plan. This has a nice size half bath in it. I'm gonna let Tony do his magic in there. Half baths are not built for 2 people, is what we've discovered through the filming process. That does have a separate fantastic fan in it as well. Right. And then I'm going to open up some storage in here. Up top, that's going to be our circuit breaker box and fuse panels, and Newmar supplies you with extra fuses. And then our other storage, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In a little half bath, look at all the different storage they put in there. And some of those little cabinets, I know sometimes we think, who's gonna use all of those? Talk to an experienced RVer. They will have probably filled every cabinet. Okay, as we come back through here, we do have a central vac as well. Now, this has 2 different hookups. It comes with a set of tools that are probably down in our basement, and you can hook those up right here. And the hose is long enough to reach to the front or the back of the coach. That's why they put this right in the middle. But it also has what I refer to as the power dustpan. This is a beautiful polished tile floor, and if I'm just got through sweeping it all up, I don't even have to bend over. All I have to do, hit that with my foot and then sweep the dirt right into it. I want one of these in my house. I mean, that just makes good sense right there. I'm gonna have Tony stay right there for a minute. We have a double pocket door going into the bedroom. This locks itself when it's fully opened or fully closed. So you don't even have to worry. Sometimes I've dealt with coaches before that had a clunky latch down at the bottom or something, or maybe a snap. It's in the track. The door locks itself when it's all the way open or all the way closed. So you can't get easier than that. As we come into the bed, you're gonna notice a king size bed. When we lift up this bed, we have storage underneath. And if you know what to look for, because I forgot to check the option sheet, so I was cheating here. There's method to my madness. You look way back in there, there's that little white box. Okay, that tells me this is the sleep number bed. I was cheating, sorry. Sometimes you forget, we have a lot of coaches in stock. Couldn't remember if we optioned it in or not. But this is a sleep number bed that does have the remote control for that as well. Both sides have plugs and little cabinets. I'm not gonna squeeze back there, but those plugs actually have USBs on them as well. And then storage above, that goes all the way through. You can kind of imagine. Again, it's on struts. So you could fit some pretty decent sized items because those aren't individual cabinets. Those are actually one big cabinet all the way through. Now, the nice part about the 4002 floor plan here, it has 2 really nice wardrobes in the bedroom. Okay. Nice hanging spots in there. And then good drawer storage below. So there's those. 2 more there. Then we have a bottom drawer. And this one folds down. Thought that was gonna be a drawer, didn't you? And we have the DVD player, and that's also where your second satellite receiver would go if need be. Nice little working surface here as well. That's all Corian. And then there's an outlet right up here also. Newmar tries to think of great places to put all the different outlets. And as I mentioned, bath and a half floor plan. So let's go into the bath portion here. We've already been to the half. We have a Whirlpool stacking washer and dryer. We have nice vanity here. Look how deep that is. And again, lined shelves, and I like having a plug in there. Always need some place to plug in a rechargeable razor. No, not a hairdryer. And then over here, we actually have our spare Corian for our dinette table there. There's our leaf, and then a safe in the corner as well. Then we have a 38-inch neo-angle shower. Okay. So big enough. You know, it's not, this is an RV, so this isn't one of those where I can fit 3 people in the shower. But again, me at 220 and 5'9" is perfectly fine in here. My elbows aren't hitting. I can get the job done in this shower. It does have a seat in here also, a fold down seat. So if I decided to shave my legs, again, I mean, never, we could do that. And one final feature we'll talk about real quickly, if you can get a shot of it here, Tony, this little blue dot right here. Little blue dot. That's our water saver. It's called an AquaView, and what you can do is, especially if you're boondocking, you don't want to waste water. Whenever you're out and you're boondocking, you just want to conserve as much water as you can. Well, what you can do in this scenario is, instead of turning the water on at the faucet and letting it all run down the drain into the gray tank and fill up your gray tank, number one. Number two, waste your fresh water while you're waiting on it to get hot. You can turn on this lower knob right here. You'll hear water starting to flow, but nothing's coming out. It's circulating the water back to the fresh water tank while it's warming up. And then this blue dot will turn colors, and when it turns colors, the water's hot. Then you turn on your main faucet, you get hot water instantly. You didn't waste any water letting the water warm up. So how slick is that? Lastly, behind the toilet, we have our Newmar emergency exit door. Yes, just about every manufacturer out there gives you an emergency exit window that's big enough for you to maybe crawl out of in the case of a real emergency, but you're going out head first and you're probably not going to stick the landing. It's much better to have an emergency egress door that opens up. You pull this panel off right here, a telescoping ladder comes out of it, and it's an easy climb down. We did a separate video on this as well, so this is what, the fourth or fifth video. I'm having Tony link below. Again, on our website, mountcomfortrv.com, punch in this stock number, which Tony's going to flash on the screen right now, but I believe it's 10499 if memory serves. So that's our stock number on here. You punch that in, you'll see photos of this coach, you'll see the video that we're watching now on this coach. Even if you're watching on YouTube, you can go over there and do that, and then you'll see all of the other videos that talk about individual systems that we didn't want to have to go into 15 minutes at a time on every one of these that we do. So that's the inside of our 4002 Newmar Dutch Star. Did we see the price on this, Tony? Did you happen to get the price in there? We can tell them the price. All right, good. I hope you saw that price because that's a really aggressive price on a Newmar. We do take trade-ins as well. Let's go look at the outside and we'll tell you a little bit about that.
But wait, there's more.
I forgot. Sorry, quick interlude before we go outside. This coach has a heated floor. That's a very expensive option. I can't not mention it. The main floor throughout the coach is zoned off and heated. Now, the nice part about a heated floor, first of all, the obvious when you get up in the morning, would you rather set your bare feet on a warm floor or a cold floor? I think most of us would agree warm floor. But that's not the only thing about this. If the temperature drops to like 50 degrees or so at night, believe it or not, you can heat this coach off of the heated floor. This is an electric coil heat. They do not use the hydronic system. They don't run water through the floor. That's such a bad idea in so many ways, but there are manufacturers out there that do that. They will actually run plumbing here, and so you'll have a warm spot here and then cold, 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 cold. Oh, they ran a pipe here, it's warm here and then cold, cold. That's a dumb way to heat a floor. Not to mention, how much extra plumbing do you want to have running through your floor? And God forbid you ever get a leak, you actually have to take up the floor until you find the leak. It might be running out over here, but you know, the leak's actually over here. Not a good scenario at all. The nice part about the electric coil heat, there's actually a little gun they can point at the floor, and if there ever was a problem with it, they can say, the problem's under that tile right there. We take up one tile, we repair the problem, put the tile back down, life goes on. That makes life so much better. But the heat is also very universal throughout the floor. All the tiles on the main floor feel nice and roasty toasty. So you can heat your coach with this, and it's silent. Now, Newmar heat pumps are quieter than anybody else's out there, and this coach does have 2 heat pumps on the roof. So that's nice. Their heat pumps are very quiet. The hydronic system is much quieter than if you have an RV now that has a furnace in it, a propane furnace, you'll like that Oasis system because it's even quieter than that furnace, which is very, very nice. But the floor is silent, so if it's not too cold out, you can heat with the floor. Not to mention you're using the campground's electricity instead of your diesel fuel or propane. Wonderful, wonderful option. And by the way, when I say propane, I mean in general, not this coach. This coach is all electric, no propane involved. I will throw in free lifetime propane refills on this coach if you can find where to put it. Anyway, let's go to the outside. Okay, let's take a look at the outside of our 2018 Dutch Star 4002. We'll start up here in the front. Of course, we do have the chrome Velvac mirrors. We optioned in our optional flagpole holder so you can fly the American flag. This does have, it's kind of hard to see on here, but there's a protective film on the entire front end of this. It's really neat the way they do that. If you step back 3 feet, you can't see it at all. You get real close, you can kind of feel the edges. It's really neat, protects from rock chips and bug gunk and all that, protects your paint up front. But also they put it in areas like if you have your keys in your hand and you're getting in this door latch right here, they put a film around there and back here and on the kick plate. Well, they didn't do the kick plate here because we did the chrome package, but those are areas they put it to protect the coach. Now, You should never have your keys in your hand because you can actually do keyless entry on here. I can lock and unlock the entire coach and my baggage doors just by punching in my pre-selected code. And of course we have a doorbell. You do have a deadbolt lock and a regular lock on this door as well. I mentioned the chrome package. We'll get a good shot of this when we're done, so you can kind of appreciate the chrome package for what it is. It looks beautiful all the way down the side of the coach. I really think aesthetically it adds to the coach quite a bit. I know price tag wise it adds to the coach probably quite a bit, so I hope you like it. Aluminum wheels, and these are the big boy tires. These are 315s. You know, a lot of diesel pushers will be coming with 275s or something like that. Of course, these are all 22.5-inch tires, but we're talking about the total size of the tire. A 315 is a big boy tire. That helps carry extra weight. It also just makes it that much smoother of a ride. Dutch Star does have independent front suspension. That's one of the things that separates it from a Ventana and from other coaches out there. Independent front suspension, if you're not familiar with it, we'll talk about it real briefly, but most coaches have a straight front axle. It's one axle, and if this is the axle, you have a tire here, you have a tire here, but whatever bumps we hit over here, it affects it, it vibrates through the whole coach and it affects the whole coach. When you have independent front suspension, I have a tire out here, and now if I hit a bump over here, this moves at this joint, but nothing happens over here. It's just simply a little more stability when you're going down the road, a little smoother on a bumpy road. On a smooth road probably doesn't make any difference at all. If you're ever to blow a tire, certainly from a safety standpoint, independent front suspension is going to be the better way to do that. So I don't think I can get a sponsorship deal with that. The coach for blown tires. No, we don't want to do that, but just in case it ever happened, independent front suspension is a better way to go with that. This does have a tag axle on it. As you can see, most coaches do not have tag axles when they're 40 feet long, and I've had that question before. Somebody called me up, Chris, why does Newmar put tag axles on their 40 footers? Well, the better question might be, why don't the other companies put tag axles on their 40 footers? Adding a tag axle just adds incredible carrying capacity to the coach. It does affect the ride a little bit, and it's a little, you know, 2 more tires on the ground, so we're a little more stable. But more than anything else, what it does is it adds a tremendous amount of carrying capacity. When you have a tag axle on a 40-footer, you know what you can put in here? Whatever you want. You're not going to have to worry about your carrying capacities. Go with full water, go with full fuel, you know, collect little rocks if you want to, like Lucy with the long trailer. Collect whatever you want. You're probably not going to be able to overweight this trailer with the tag axle on it. All right, we did option in the Dometic freezer. This is on a pull-out tray. Notice how far this pulls out. This can be a freezer or a refrigerator, either one. This runs off of 12 volt or 110 volts, either way. And then when you're done with it, it locks itself in place and you shut the door. It is very windy today. I apologize for 2 things. Number one, you're probably getting a little bit of wind noise in the microphone. It's unavoidable. So I do apologize for that. The other thing is I'm not going to open the Girard awnings in this wind. Awnings are for nice days. They do have motion detectors in them that will bring them back in the event of wind, but you don't want to depend on that. And Girard awnings are thousands of dollars a piece. I don't want to have that conversation with our owner, so we're not doing that today. You'll have to check some of the other videos where I open the awnings. We did option this coach in with 2 pull-out trays, 1 out each side. This one will go out either side, I should say. This one is a half tray. Those work very smoothly. The optional exterior TV on this is down low. They do that intentionally. You can make an argument either way. If I'm standing out here tailgating, drinking some of my favorite icy cold beverages at the game, probably up on the sidewall is a better place for a TV. If I'm out under my Girard awnings, sitting around having my favorite beverage in my bag chair, this is a much better height for the TV. So like I said, it kind of depends on what you're doing, which is better. This TV is on a swivel arm, and we do have the Bose sound bar below it as well. One of the things I want to point out is our flush mount slides. These slides tuck in to the sidewall instead of having a big plastic piece that covers over all of it. That prevents wind noise. It prevents moisture from getting in as well. Newmar has been doing flush mount slides forever. It's just a better way to go. Docking lights. Like I said, that helps you find that picnic table you can't see when you're backing in with your brand new coach. As we step back to these two rear compartments, we have our DEF, diesel exhaust fluid. That's part of the after treatment for the engine for emissions. It's not really a big deal in the RV world. In some applications, DEF is kind of a pain in the butt. In the RV world, really isn't. You use about a gallon of DEF for every 50 gallons of fuel you use, and life goes on. This coach will tow 15,000 pounds behind it. It's very popular here in Indianapolis. We deal with a lot of racers, anything from drag racing to NASCAR to IndyCar. We have it all, and then sprint car and stuff like that as well. So there are a lot of racers around this area. We deal with a lot of them. They like the Dutch Stars because they're 40 footers, which means 40 footers with a tag. That gets them the 15,000 tow capacity they want, because they're going to have a great big race trailer that's probably too long to be legally on the road anyway, but that's what racers do. Sorry if I'm letting any secrets out there, racers, but you can tow your nice heavy trailer, and you're 3 feet shorter than you would be if we had a 4369 or something like that back here. Of course, this is a side radiator coach. That gives me good access back into the engine compartment. You can see this is our ISL 450 horse, 1,250 foot-pounds of torque engine. Easy access to hydraulic filters. We have our fuel filters back here as well. We can check all of our fluid levels easily back here. With a side radiator coach, everything is easily accessible. This is a beautiful molded rear cap. Our cameras mounted in up there at the very top. There's no ladder on the back of this coach. I've been asked about that before. Why no ladder on a Dutch Star? Well, I can give you the simple reason. Ladders are ugly. The nice part about these coaches with the Girard awnings on them, where they're molded up into the top cap, is they look like $1 million bus. They really don't look like anything else that's in this price range, we'll say. So if you want that $1 million, $2 million bus look, if you see one of those, a Prevost bus doesn't have a ladder on the back, I don't think. So neither is this. This is just aesthetically, you're going to want to carry a collapsible ladder with you that'll get you to the roof. Moving on, by the way, the roof is a one-piece fiberglass roof. This is a DEF fill from the opposite side. Sometimes you can get DEF at the pump. This way, no matter which side of the coach you're on, you can access it. This is our sewer hose storage. You don't want your sewer hose mingling with anything else. I think we can all agree with that. Sewer hoses are kind of icky. They need their own spot. That's its own spot, and that's a big enough spot that you can fit a good sized sewer hose in there, not just the little entry-level one. We come over to our wet bay. You're going to see that everything is extremely well labeled. We have a power hose reel over here, so that makes that easily retracted. We have a whole house water filter. We have a black tank rinse. We have access to hot and cold water. The pink hose here, that's our winterization hose. Everything is super easy to get to. Notice these compartment doors have this little button on them. That's refrigerator door technology right there, folks. When you open the door, the light comes on. You got to love that. There's a master off switch inside. You can shut that off. You move forward one compartment, and we're going to have a 50-foot, 50-amp storage cord. Now, 50 foot is a long cord. Most coaches come with a 20, 25-foot cord. If you have to buy one of these 50-amp extension cords, it's going to hurt a little. Those are very expensive cords. There's 50 feet right there. Hopefully, you don't even need the extension cord with this. That's the Oasis system. I talked about it before. That's our hydronic heating system that heats our coach and our water. It uses either diesel fuel or electricity to do so, whatever you have available to you. So again, we did a separate video on this and how they work and all that. I'll leave you to watch that. That's the second half of that storage tray we talked about. And then you move forward one more time, you see that bank of house batteries I mentioned earlier. These are 8 AGM, absorbed glass mat is what that stands for, batteries. They're a maintenance-free battery. There's a lot of information out there about AGMs as well. Definitely the way to go on a high-end rig like this. Last compartment on this side, we do have all of our chassis fuses and electronics in here, some spare fuses down here, and this is the little ripcord handle we pull to open the front end, which we've already done. We do have dual fuel fill, so you can get it from either side, so you can do both fuel and DEF from either side. And then as we pan back, you're going to see we've optioned in window awnings on this coach. Those are manual window awnings with metal protective covers on them. We do manual because they are so much less expensive than the electric ones. Electric ones are nice, but it's one more motor to go wrong. Nice part about that is there's a little strap hanging down. You hook that, you pull it out, you hook it on this little cleat right here. It takes literally about 5 seconds per window to do. And those are much better awnings in my opinion. They'll stand up to the wind a lot better also. Up front here, we're gonna have our 8,000 kW Onan generator. This is a diesel generator, of course. We'll get in there and get a good shot of that. You can see the fuel filter right next to it. That's your diesel generator fuel filter. To the right of that, you will see the air horns and that little red spigot. That little red spigot is our hot water to generator feature. That feature will get you hot water out the front of your coach. So if I'm gonna wash bugs off the front of my coach, do I wanna do it with hot water or cold water? If I'm gonna wash my car that got dusty in the campground, do I wanna do it with hot water or cold water? A lot of advantages there. Folks, I'm gonna wrap it up there. We'll close it up and get some good shots of this coach. Oh, by the way, I forgot steerable tag. This coach has a steerable tag axle on it. The tag axle actually follows the coach around. That tightens up your turning radius on these coaches. It seems like I can never get everything. There's always something I remember after the fact. So you do have a steerable tag axle on this coach as well. That's something that Newmar is doing that a lot of companies aren't. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you for watching. Sorry for the length of the video. Some people like the long videos. Some people are like, geez, wrap it up. Sorry, we wanna hit everything and make sure we get all the features in there. My name's Chris Anderson. I'm with Mount Comfort RV. Thanks for watching. Tony, cue the music.
Left me for another. You have shattered all my dreams. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when